On that frigid night, the streets of Detroit seemed darker and more menacing than ever. Maria, with her heart pounding a mile a minute, gripped Fiel's leash tightly. Her German shepherd's imposing presence was the only source of comfort amidst the intimidating vastness of the city. Fiel was no ordinary dog. His past as a retired police dog endowed him with an aura of authority and mystery. The dim light of the lampposts barely illuminated their path, casting long distorted shadows that melded with the darkness, turning every corner into a potential hiding spot for unexpected dangers. Maria felt each beat of her heart echoing in her ears, a tense symphony accompanying her hurried steps as they approached the ATM to make a withdrawal. A figure emerged from the gloom, blocking their path with a threatening presence. The man, tall in stature with a piercing gaze, fixed his eyes on Maria, conveying a silent message of imminent danger. Maria swallowed hard, her hand trembling on Fiel's leash. She glanced at her companion, seeking some form of communication, a course of action to ward off the threat. To her surprise, Fiel didn't react as expected. Instead of baring his teeth or growling, the dog sat calmly, tilting his head to the side while emitting a low, melodious sound, almost as if he were trying to communicate not with Maria, but with the stranger before him. The man, initially taken aback, wore a look of determination. He hesitated, his eyes once filled with dark intent now reflecting confusion and somehow a glimpse of recognition. He took a step back, his threatening posture crumbling in the face of Fiel's unexpected gesture. "It can't be. Fiel, is that you?" The man's voice, though low, carried a mixture of surprise and disbelief. Maria, confused and still fearful, held on to the leash more tightly. You know my dog." The man looked from Fiel to Maria, a storm of emotions crossing his face. He was one of the best dogs on the force. How did he end up with you?" The question hung in the air, laden with mystery and palpable curiosity. Maria, feeling the tension of the moment morphing into an enigma, realized that the night held much more than just a simple ATM withdrawal. Fiel, the dog she had adopted seeking protection, seemed to be the key to a past filled with untold stories, and that mysterious man was only the beginning of a chapter she had never imagined unraveling. As the chilly wind of Detroit whispered through the empty streets, Maria knew that the journey with Fiel was only just beginning, a journey that would take them down intertwined paths of loyalty, mystery, and an unbreakable connection that defied the boundaries between past and present. The man's revelation brought about a heavy silence, interrupted only by the occasional gust of wind. Maria, still holding Fiel's leash firmly, felt her heart beating at a frantic rhythm, echoing the tension of the moment. I didn't know," Maria began, her voice trembling. "Fiel was adopted from a shelter. He saved my life more times than I can count." The man took a step forward, his expression softening. He reassured quickly. "Fiel is more than a dog to me, he's my companion, my family." A shared essence united the trio, a mutual acknowledgement of unbreakable bonds formed under extraordinary circumstances. But the night still held more mysteries. "What are you doing here, Maria?" the man asked, curiosity overcoming her initial fear. The man hesitated, looking around as if afraid of being overheard. "I'm searching for something, someone. Left clues that Fiel and I were meant to find. It seems our past doesn't want to let us go." Maria felt a shiver run down her spine. What seemed like a chance encounter now unfolded into a web of mysteries and hidden signs. linking her fate to that of Fiel and the man in ways she could never have imagined. "Will you help me?" the man asked, his eyes seeking hers, pleading for understanding. Maria looked at Fiel, finding courage in the dog's silent loyalty. "We will," she replied, determined. "We'll uncover this together." And so, under the cloak of night, Maria, Fiel, and the man took the first steps on a journey filled with secrets and revelations, a journey that would lead them to the heart of a mystery that only together could they solve. United by an intertwined past and an uncertain but promising future, as the night wore on, the trio delved deeper into the shadows of the city, following clues that seemed to guide them through a labyrinth of secrets intertwined with Fiel's past. "Why would someone leave clues for us?" Maria questioned, her voice low as they moved silently through the desolate streets. Lucas, with a distant look, replied, "It wasn't uncommon for us during our days on the force to solve cases through riddles. Someone is using our own method against us, or maybe asking for our help." Fiel, with his heightened senses, seemed to understand the gravity of their mission. He led the way, occasionally stopping to sniff the air or examine an apparently insignificant object, which turned out to be another piece of the puzzle they were trying to piece together. In one of those moments, Fiel stopped in front of a wall covered in graffiti where a specific symbol stood out. Lucas approached, examining the drawing. "This was our code, a signal we used to indicate that we were on the right track," Lucas explained. Maria watched, fascinated, as the bond between Lucas and Fiel manifested not only in their shared history but also in their ability to communicate without words, a deep understanding that transcended human language. "And what if this is a trap?" Maria couldn't help but ask, concern tinging her voice. Lucas looked at her, a sad smile on his lips. "Then we'll face it together. But Fiel, he has a gift. He knows when something isn't right." It was true. Fiel, in all his calmness and concentration, exuded a confidence that reassured Maria. He wasn't just a dog, he was a guardian, a friend who shared an unbreakable connection with his former partner, and now with her. Their journey led them to an abandoned park where the last clue awaited them. Under the faint light of a still-functioning lamppost, Fiel sniffed the air before heading toward a box hidden under a pile of dry leaves. Inside, they found not only another clue but also a letter addressed to them. Lucas read aloud, "If you're reading this, it means Fiel is still the brilliant detective I knew, and he has found worthy people by his side. The truth you seek is closer than you imagine, and Fiel is the key." Maria, Lucas, and Fiel exchanged glances, realization dawning upon them. The search wasn't just about solving an old mystery, it was about discovering the true essence of their connection, a journey that would redefine the meaning of family, loyalty, and unconditional love. And so, under the protection of the stars, Maria, Lucas, and Fiel, united by a common purpose, prepared to unravel the final chapter of the story that had brought them together, a story of courage, trust, and a friendship that defied all odds. The truth revealed in the last clue led Maria, Lucas, and Fiel to a small orphanage on the outskirts of the city, a place that, against all odds, Fiel knew well. It was there that all the clues led them to an unresolved case that Lucas and Fiel had left behind. Lucas, with a choked voice, shared the story of a missing child, a case that had haunted his last days on the police force. "We never found out what happened to her," he admitted. But Fiel, he never forgot. Maria watched Fiel, whose calm behavior contrasted with the gravity of the situation. The dog moved through the orphanage with surprising familiarity, finally leading them to a forgotten room where they discovered not only the truth about the missing child but also about the community that had formed around the search for justice and hope. The child, far from being lost, had found refuge among the people of that place, a testament to the power of community and persistence in the face of despair. Fiel, in his silent wisdom, had guided Maria and Lucas not only to the resolution of a mystery but to the understanding that some searches lead to deeper discoveries about what it means to belong and to love. The true value of a community is not measured by the absence of conflicts but by how we face our adversities together, Maria reflected, the words echoing in the hearts of all present. The lesson they took from that night was not just about solving an old case but about the power of resilience, compassion, and the unbreakable connection that can arise in the most unexpected circumstances. The story of Maria, Lucas, and Fiel, intertwined with the fate of a community, united by hope, culminated under the night sky of Detroit. Detroit, no longer a cloak of darkness and fear, but a starry veil of infinite possibilities. As they left the orphanage, the dawn light began to cast soft shadows on the once threatening streets, transforming the city into a backdrop of redemption and renewal. Maria looked at Fiel, whose loyalty and courage had illuminated the path through the darkness, and at Lucas, whose shared past with Fiel had become irrevocably intertwined with hers. Their image, silhouetted against the sunrise, was a powerful visual representation of the journey they had traveled together, a journey of discovery, healing, and the affirmation that even in the darkest nights, there are stars that shine. With the promise of a new day, the legacy of that night would not be forgotten. Maria, Lucas, and Fiel, each with their own past and scars, had found in each other the strength to face the shadows and, in doing so, illuminate the path for others still walking in darkness. Their story was a vivid reminder that while we may start our journeys alone, it is in union with others that we find our true strength and purpose. And so, with each step forward, they moved together, ready to face whatever the future held, united by indestructible bonds of friendship, love, and a courage that defied all expectations.